There we go. We're on. Hey, Jeff. How's it going today?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Feeling nice and chilled out, which is great.
Nice. Definitely a better
Yeah.
recording too.
Yes, last time was a bit. Like
Yeah,
I
it was a
said, I
little bit of a
almost wanted
bitch in
to
the car.
re-record it, but I
Yeah.
was like, nah, this conversation was good. I know the sound, like I'm a lot louder. You're in the car, so I'm glad you're at home today. We're catching you before you go to pick up your cute little daughter.
Yes, it's all good.
Yeah. So I thought for today, why don't we have a quick chat about false twin flames and sort of, I would
Oh,
say, like
yes.
even the overuse of the term. We were talking about it not long ago. I keep seeing either people I know, they're in a new relationship and they put hashtag twin flame, or even celebrities like I know Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly keep saying they're twin flames. And you sent me, I think you made a song about it.
Yep.
And I'm looking at them like, nah, you're not twin flames.
I
And
mean,
I'm not trying to say it in a sort of egotistical way, but just with what we know from the experience. It's not just like a romantic relationship.
sometimes I feel like they're just wishing on it and don't even understand what they're wishing for.
I know. I'm like, you do not want to wish for that. You probably don't
Well,
want to wish for it.
you can, but
Yes,
if you're not ready, you don't want to wish for that.
exactly. And I don't know if people understand what the true twin flame connection that leads into an awakening, what it really means or what it really feels like or turns into. I've often said I compare it to an ayahuasca ceremony because when I did ayahuasca, it was like, you take this potion, that the shamans give you, and it just kicks your ass. Basically, it
Hmm.
kicked my ass many times until it started to chill out. But it's like shaking you up to get the energetics moving through you, to clear all these old energetics and to bring everything up to the surface, which is not easy, and it's insanely hard at times.
Yeah, I go back to again. I don't know why I agreed to that.
Yeah, right? When they
I mean,
asked you.
my see, that's the one thing about the twin flame element that really weirds me out a little bit
Yes.
because that's the only thing different between my experience with every other twin I've met and I've talked to. I
You
was
got asked.
asked,
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
was
how did you get
contracted and
asked?
asked to directly. And then I think that's why I was fast tracked, to be honest with you.
Because you
I
said
just had this
yes.
weird feeling because I was like, yep, I'm down. Let's do this. And then,
That's really interesting because I was just yesterday I was waiting for the ferry because now I live a little ways out from the city, and I've been really drawn to channeled material. And there's this channeled material called the Law of One, and they call it the raw material, like
mm,
RA. So it's a whole book, and I haven't started reading it or anything, so I want to watch a video of a guy breaking it down. And it's talking about, how the channeling happens. There's these forces, we can call it extraterrestrials, or it's just beings of other dimensions. I don't know, there's many descriptions for that. But it's saying, that we have free will and it's up to us to be open to that sort of communication. And because we have free will, they can't force any communication onto us. They can't just force you to start channeling or push information. You have to be open to it. So the fact you were open to that information, that was like step number one. And exactly when I listen to that, it's like, well, that makes sense how you were fast tracked because you were listening and already open enough to even take that initial information in.
I've always, some of us think, or some twin flames feel too,
Hmm.
that they kind of not from here, as in, I'm not
Yes.
saying from this planet per se, but I'm saying from in more of a generalized manner. I think it's because we different timelines and you kind of feeling
Mm.
different from the timeline that you're on. That's all. But some
I could
people
see that.
say basically oh, don't feel like I'm from here, or maybe I'm not
Yeah.
from here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm
you feel
going,
like
well,
ever
you're
since I
not
was a
actually.
kid, I felt different
Yep,
somehow.
exactly. And like even through the twin flame journey, like those differences like are very profound in all aspects, like relationships and everything.
Hmm.
So past or present. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. If you're taking this, to me, energy is continuous. It doesn't die, right? So let's go
Exactly.
back to what you said once about the animals aren't scared to die because they know better.
Exactly. They are
So,
not like us. They're not clinging on to life and stuck in their ego or
right.
scared and in fear. They're just like, okay, I'm eternal energy. I am God, love, source, energy. And I think that's like even the law of one. It's like that oneness. And we're seems like all the people that are awakening, we're trying to learn about that and really grasp it. And it's such a simple concept, but yet I feel like I
Yeah.
keep understanding it further and further that I understand the depths of what it takes to understand it.
And I like, going back to like Machine Gun Kelly and all that crap. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like, I think they want to be a part of that.
Exactly.
Or it could be completely twisted and be like they're just taking a piss because they're like satanic fucks, to be honest with you. So
True. We never
I mean, I
know.
mean, I'm kind of conflicted on that one myself. I don't really know.
Yeah. I
But
don't
if
know
you
where it
drink each
comes
other's
from.
blood and do rituals and shit like they've already said, then
Right?
that's just weird to me.
And that's
So,
just it is I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I've had this feeling. I think it's just like an intuition or something where I just feel like I could talk to people and get to know their story, and I feel like I know if they are a true twin flame or not.
yes, even if they haven't experienced it yet.
I don't know if I'm
So,
that far. You're good at that. I don't even know
I'm
if I'm
like,
that far.
I've hit a couple people that I'm going, okay, I know better. Like, in other words, like one of my clients' girlfriends yesterday was on point about a lot of stuff.
Mm,
And I could just understand the conversation and the way that when I was saying things in reference to, I mean, my sessions of tattooing are like a crazy opening, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And
Healing,
she
I
was,
think you're meant to do that.
yeah, and she was looking at me like, I could see her looking at me intently and going, like, holy crap, like, I didn't know somebody else knew this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or felt that way. And I was like, if I had you alone for an hour or two to talk to you, you would completely change.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that. And I was
And I
like,
feel that sometimes like drawn to share specific information with a specific person that it does also feel like you're channeling still. Like,
well, remember how I read pictures? That I would just pick a random person and start looking at their pictures, and then I would have to write them a DM or something.
yeah, you've written me long letters just
Like,
randomly. You get a
yep,
message. And I get the same for other people, or that was why I got into doing the sessions with the twin flames, that I'd meet through YouTube, because I never call myself a psychic because I don't even really believe in that. I believe in it, but not in a certain way. I don't believe that anyone is really privy to the full information of someone's future, first of all. And second of all, because we have free will, the way I would get visions for people is okay, it's like a fork in the road here, a fork in the road there. You could take this way and go this route, but if you don't, it's still okay, even if I see it like making a quote mistake or something. It's like it's never a mistake. Their soul isn't there yet. They need to learn. So it was like providing guidance to help them understand why they're stuck in certain patterns and things like that. It wasn't like, oh,
right.
this is your future, this is what it's going to be. Like, not at all. You just get these messages, and I think we're all capable of it. It's just, are you open to
Definitely.
it?
Uh, where are you at in your energetics as well?
Yes. Yeah,
So that
exactly.
and certain people at certain times, like the twin flame element found us, I believe we are able to find or see in others, but just purely from conversation,
Oh, yeah.
because that is the energetics. I mean, people don't even understand sometimes when you're speaking to someone, you're listening to their voice. The tone of their voice is energetics. So
Yeah.
when you're having a conversation, that's why text messages people get or emails people get, you read them differently than if I were to talk to you.
It's true. Sometimes I feel like you and we would know it was like, okay, it would feel like a push, like time for a call with Jeff. And
Yep.
sometimes even if we spoke about random crap, like I would know it's like we're exchanging some energetics that are healing or even through our voices. Like it's just like, okay, certain twins I felt at different phases in my journey. It's like I'm meant to work with this twin right now, or I'm meant to work with this person, maybe not a twin, but like on their awakening journey, like this other
Hmm.
route. And okay, now I gotta talk to them. And even certain people, it's like, okay, now that door is closed. I don't feel drawn to talk to them anymore, or we're done with that, you know?
And that's where it comes, what we were saying before. Like, I think that some of those twins or people that say they're twins or hashtag twins or look into that
Yeah.
stuff, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that they don't understand. Um, like, maybe they want an understanding of something like that.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's, all of us, I mean, I don't care, man or woman, everybody wants to fall in love and have that experience and feel that love and energetic and all that stuff. But to the degree, if you have been a twin, you understand that serious nature of it.
That's where it's almost laughable because exactly you're mixing up a twin flame experience with like a soul
Soul
connection.
contract.
Yeah,
Yep.
soul contract, soul connection.
Hmm.
People call a soul mate, whatever you want to call it. Like sure,
Yeah, it's not the same.
you can find a love and it's like I've had that love in my life, you know, and it's
Oh, me
like
too.
it's totally different. It's like a kinship, it's like a family.
Well, my
It's
ex-wife, I mean, that's
same with me. That's
basically,
who I think of. I still talk
yeah,
to my ex-husband. Like we're still really good friends. He feels like family to me, but it was such a
yeah.
different sort of connection, you know?
I'm like the only person I know, or one of them, that, I mean, my ex-wife's new man, I go over to his mom's house for Thanksgiving with the kids and everybody. I don't give a shit.
Oh yeah,
you,
I've done that
you know what I
too.
mean?
We had split up, and until we both moved on in different relationships, yeah, like I'd go to his families. They'd invite me at Christmas or whatever. Like they know it's like we don't need to hate each other. We're like family. We're bonded. He's like a best friend in a way, and I'll always care about him. And we shared a
Exactly.
lot of lessons. And I know when I did ayahuasca, it showed me those sort of soul contracts, what it means, like for your path, like and what it meant for me. And I was like, wow, when I was on ayahuasca, I felt really, really thankful for my ex-husband and for that sort of connection because it helped lay certain elements of my path down, you know, and I'm like, okay, he helped guide me towards this and I helped guide him towards that. And I get why it was meant to happen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we changed on those particular timelines or what we were supposed to travel on for
Yeah,
a certain allotted amount of time. And
exactly.
within those timelines, with those soul contracts and within those soul contracts, when the contract is over, so is the relationship.
Oh man, it was crazy. Like when I met my twin, my marriage, like I had already been wanting to leave the marriage for at least a couple of years, if not longer. And I can't describe it, but it was those 3D, what's the word? Like kind of like a responsibility you feel, or, you know, like, oh, I've got to keep the family together, and oh, I got to try hard to keep this together, or whatever.
Yeah,
And
that's a complete 3D
yeah, reason to have the
holding you
relationship.
back. Right.
Exactly.
But
And even when we were splitting up, I felt scared and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on my own. I had all this fear, but yet I always say that it was like my intuition or that channeling or those messages, which I now understand completely why they were like, no, you've got to go. That has ended. What you needed
yeah,
to learn from him, you've learned. It's time to move on. And
see,
that's, I
people don't,
think, the
people,
difference, you know, with that sort of a relationship.
people don't understand that intuition is not some like guiding force that sends you on. It's yourself. You need to listen to you.
Yes. And a
That
lot
in
of people
itself,
do. They look
it
for
can be.
external.
Yeah, it can be guiding, as in, i.e., example, when you go, as in, I drive out my driveway and then I take like my normal path to where I'm going to work, the normal route. And I come up to a point to where I just think in my head of this alternate route that I'm passing by, and
Yeah.
I should drive that way, and it would be nice. And then yet I continue straight, and I hit traffic or an accident. That's your intuition telling you
Yes, I've
should
had
have
it
gone
so many
the other way,
times. Yeah, I've
but you
had it
don't
happen
listen to
so
it.
much.
Yeah, you just don't listen to it like that, because I think that we've been manipulated so much to have outside influences on us in the 3D element of bullshit that
Mm-hmm.
we disregard ourselves and our own intuition with it.
100%. And exactly, we even still to this day, I mean, certain things I believe in, I've lost friends, I've lost relationships. It's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist and you're this and you're that. And I've had these thoughts where it's like, not long ago, if you were using your intuition or speaking on that, you
You'd be a
could be
witch.
killed.
Yep.
Exactly. You could be burned at the stake and all this. So it's like, oh my gosh, no wonder we're still having a hard time to trust our intuition. That is like very recent that people were killed, books were burned. And I mean, it's still happening in different ways, let's say that. But you know what I mean? Our society has conditioned us so much to not listen to that voice, to think if you listen to that voice, you're crazy. Like I've doubted myself. I've thought I'm like a total weirdo. And even the twin flame uh, journey was really, I feel helpful in guiding me towards listening to my intuition because I always say that for the first couple of years, I just thought I'd lost my mind. I thought I was crazy. I'm like, why am I feeling this? Why do I feel his energy this way? Or why do I feel like he's thinking about me right now? And then over time, once I started trusting it a little bit more, like say that would come to me, that strong feeling, well, I would write. And he's like, oh my goodness, I was just thinking about you, or I was just looking at your pictures, or like whatever it may be. And you're like, shoot, like this is real. Like the
See,
twin flame really showed how real it is.
I think a lot of that perspective, that's running and chasing. I've just been like, that in itself, what you just said, is why you run and you chase.
Oh, wow. I didn't really think about it that way, but you're
Do you
right.
understand what I'm
Because you're
saying? So,
freaking out. You're literally freaking out. You're like,
yeah,
and
you're
I've
not
never
listening to
had such
yourself.
fucked up energy in my life.
Right. Like, I
I
mean,
was so
well,
all over the map.
it's a lot of things that we just don't understand. Not to
Yeah,
say
and
that we
it's
shouldn't
scaring
be,
you. Yeah,
if we were supposed to experience this. I think everybody has the potential to experience it also,
I do agree with that. Like
without a
say,
doubt.
I know I'm talking shit about Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox. I'm not saying they're not capable, but I'm just saying in this moment, I don't believe they're true twin flames. I don't think,
No,
let's just say this, if you come together and you just meet this person, you get together and that's it. You fall in love and whatever,
I,
they're engaged right now and like I really don't think any true twin flame it works that way.
well, like I've told you before, as Post Malone was.
Yes, we
if
talked
you want
about
to,
that.
if you want to use examples, there
And
are
crazy
people.
when we started listening to his lyrics and you're like, damn, I
I'm like,
never would
no,
have
no,
heard
no.
those songs in that way if I didn't know he's a twin flame. And that's
Well, it was
exactly
only
it. I
after I talked
followed.
to him on the phone that I knew.
Yeah, I forgot
So,
that. Oh my gosh. I forgot about this story. It's huge. That's
but
right.
like,
Because you knew
again,
him
that's
through tattooing or something, right?
through my other business, but
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
yeah.
right.
So a friend of mine was building
Introduced
him
you.
something and helping him out, and I was part of that. So,
Don't mind my
but
puppy in the background here. She's making some noise. I'm not grunting and going,
No.
But yeah, that's right. You met him, and tell us that story. I kind of forget it. It's been so long.
Well, it was just a friend of mine out built him a firearm, and then wanted it painted and stuff like that. And that's my other business is firearms and things like that, and coating them with certain things and products. And so I did that. And
you paint on them and do like airbrush designs and all sorts of stuff, right?
I can do, yes. But
Yeah,
I tend to do
part
more
of
like
it.
hard coatings and more professional coatings and things like that for them.
Yeah.
But it was just funny. He basically called, and I was talking to my friend, and I was like, "What do you want done, and how do you want it done?" And then he put him on the phone, and he kept saying like, "This is post," and you know what I mean. And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, post?" I'm talking about colors and things, and you know what I mean. What do you want done? Like, and you keep saying post. What you talking about? Fucking post Kellogg's cereal? I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, my nickname." I said, "Huh?" And I was like,
Who are you?
"Who's this?" And he goes, "Post." And I was like, "Again, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, who are you?" Like I don't know who you are, dude. And he's like,
You're a
"Post Malone," and
post?
I'm like, "Yeah," and like, I don't know who you are. I was like,
Oh,
I
you
don't give a
hadn't really
fuck.
heard of his music at that point.
Well, no, and they call him his friends and
They
nickname.
call
They
him like
call him Post.
Posty or something. Yeah, or Post.
Yeah, so exactly. So and I was just like, "What are you talking about? Like, fuck off," basically. And I don't get starstruck anyway. But
True.
it's just like after talking to him and hearing it, and then going back and then recapping and listening to his voice and then lyrics and understanding like, yeah, that's more realistic to me. You know what I mean? And it's something that I was unaware of. Like to me, Machine Gun
Yeah,
Kelly seems to be I'm doing that shit for an album.
exactly. It's
Whereas
like
Post
a
Malone, his whole
publicity
fucking
stunt.
album, his whole albums and lyrics are referencing that. You see what I mean?
And when
In other
you
words,
talked to him, like he didn't know what about, like he just said some things and you deciphered that he's a twin flame, right? Like he doesn't know he's a twin flame. Is that what had happened, if I remember correctly?
no, I mean, I was like, dude, after that and doing work and then conversing about what was wanted done and stuff like that, you can then understand. I'm like, yeah, man, now I listen to your shit. I dig that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're a twin. And he's like, oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know? And I was like, oh, I know.
Oh, he knew about it.
Well, yeah, he understands that element. I don't know if he delved through all of it more than, I
Basic
mean, he had to
levels.
some degree, but he internalized that stuff and put it on the lyrics. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
then
yeah, he had
now
that
go back.
relationship. I kind of looked into it. He had that relationship with that. I think she's a Latin girl or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, all the lyrics to his, well, not all, but a lot of the songs, it talks
First
about
couple
it.
albums. Yep.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa, okay. And you do see it's like they're in separation and they're both like living their own lives. And people still follow her a lot because it's
Oh,
like they
yeah.
know who she is and that she was his girlfriend for a while. And
And I think throughout the travel, throughout the career elements, throughout that's the running and chasing stuff and phase.
yes,
So, but again, it's not like we're trying to decipher that. I'm not saying people can't or won't have them. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there that I don't
are
know.
fakes.
Yeah, they're full of shit,
They're
basically.
trying to market themselves on it too through YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers that literally have channels about twin flames, and I'll check it out, and I'm like, that's a
I
no
mean,
for me.
there's damn twin flame universities and shit. I'm
It's
like going, what?
yeah.
Like,
People are using it as a money maker or to try to get like more popularity online because I do feel that in the current times, not just through twin flames, but just spirituality in general, it's kind of trendy in certain ways. And how would you describe it? I started getting involved in stuff when I was awakening, going to circles or certain, I don't know, things you could call spiritual. And don't get me wrong, I'm super happy because I do think a lot of people are going to awaken one way or another. But I think it's almost like hilarious that it's just sort of like these cool, trendy girls out here go to spiritual things, or I shouldn't just say girls, guys too, but do you know what I mean? It's so I feel like the twin flame thing, it's also become like a trend. Like, oh yeah, he's totally my twin flame. And you're just like, oh, okay.
I tend to think that, so my twin was told she was a twin by her ex, like a narcissistic fuck who
Oh,
basically,
like we're twin flames, just to
right,
try to reel her in.
in order to get her involved in that, into
Oh,
that mentality and thinking, in order to keep her around. And
wow.
then mine said something to me about twins, right, in relevance to us in meeting, to where at one point I thought and started looking up the false twins as well and trying to understand that scenario, because I was like, again, going through all the crap and going through all the shit, I was like, well, maybe she's my false before I meet my real one.
Yeah, I've questioned that
So,
before as well.
and then you go back, and I go back, and if I really stop and think about that, that's BS. Now, my thing is, my twin was supposedly awakened before me in reference to what twins are and spiritually, but I think our twin flame element, which was real, smacked her in the face.
Yeah, you're not
So she was
expecting it.
guided by false pretense, and
Got
then the
you.
real thing smacked her in the face, which happens to a lot of twins. And I think that's what a false twin flame is actually.
That's true.
It's a soul contract, but the
It's
person doing
to
the soul
get you opened up
contract,
to that
right,
concept even.
which opens you up and expedites the element of maybe what can happen and come, and they want it bad, or they know about it, or they understand it, or, like I said,
They know
everybody
the
wants
signs
love and
to
all
look
that.
for even. And
Right.
I mean, I will say there was a lot of those lists back in the day of like, oh, these are the signs. And not gonna lie, a lot of them were correct. And I'm like, oh, this resonates, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, with all of that, I mean, I think that it depends on to what's happening, I think, situationally.
Yeah.
So
See, it's
each
so true.
situation is
Yeah.
different than, like, every twin flame is different, but it's all the same. It's like a bad
Yeah.
ecstasy trip. Like, like
Yeah.
everybody takes it at the same time. Everybody goes up and everybody goes down, but people have different trips. You know what I mean?
Yes. Everyone's
So,
situation is different.
right, we all feel the same. We all, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
like, damn.
And that was for me, like, so with me, what happened was I had a coworker, very intuitive, and like she is a spiritual girl. And I would tell her about the situation at work, with my twin at the time. And again, just thought I was going crazy, didn't know what was going on. And I'm like describing, the way he was acting and then the way I was acting. And she's like, that sounds like your twin flame. I'm like, huh, what? Like, I'd never heard of that in my life at all. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, look it up on break. And I'm like, okay. And I go on my lunch break and I'm like, okay, I type it in my phone and I just start reading, like, yeah, the signs of a twin flame. And all of a sudden, just right away, I'm like, what the hell? you know? But the funny thing is with her, she was one of those where even to this day, she's very spiritual, very intuitive. She does readings for people, she does sound healing, she has a spiritual business. And I mean, she is along the lines of those trendy people I'm talking about, but she's legit. But the funny thing is when I met her, she's like, oh yeah, this guy, he was totally my twin flame. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm getting to know it more and more. And then she meets a different guy. No, this guy, he's definitely my twin flame. Oh, that other guy was like the false. Now this one's the real. I'm like, oh, okay. And
I feel
then like that ends, and then another one comes along. Oh no, he's my twin flame for sure. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Okay, like you're
but
losing me, girl.
I kind of feel like there's like it's like the military. There's different factions of
Yeah.
shit that's happening and different levels of as far as sergeants of arms and you know what I mean
Yeah.
and like generals and people.
I agree.
That's how I
It's like we
depict it
have
all.
different roles to play that we don't even fully understand. Like I feel like it's on the higher levels that we would understand what our roles are. But I see the twin flames as like this net over the earth. Like we all have our points and we're supposed to do this and that. And even with that girl, it's like she's doing amazing work. She's helping people. She's doing healing work. She's with a partner right now that they've been together for years, and she truly believes, like, she hashtags twin flame all the time, and like she believes they're twin flames. With
See,
me and what I've gone through and what I've seen, the people that have stuck with this for years and years, what I've seen through that, it's like it's different a little bit. And I've
so
had a
when
lot of friends that thought they were twin flames and they
so
weren't.
when you quote unquote meet or come into contact or think about or are a part of quote unquote a false, it's not a false twin per se in the perception of okay, they're my twin flame, now they're not. Okay,
Yeah,
that
no.
falsehood and that false perception that you have is something you need to fix.
Yeah.
So it's not that the flame per se or the twin is false. It's your perception of, I think, your perception of what you know is possible, what you really want, but yet you still need to fix something within that.
Mhm.
So you have a false perception of shit.
Yeah.
So, and it shows you that. And then when you meet the true twin flame or the person that is your
Knocks the
twin,
shit out of you.
right?